So thanks for coming. Here in attendance at CityLink, we have Emily Watson, who's our Director of Marketing. We have Jamie Arbogast, who is our Director of Procurement, and then myself, Nick Sandifer, the Assistant General Manager for CityLink. So we wanted to do a public hearing to talk about Rebuild Illinois from 2020 to Rebuild Illinois from what's coming up here in 2021. So to give you just kind of a history of this, there's been a $45 billion bill passed to invest in capital projects to improve things like roads, bridges, railroads, and then transit, which is what we fall under, then some educational outlets such as universities. The state of Illinois has appropriated a little over $356 million to provide capital grants to downstate public transit agencies, which is what we fall under with that category. We do know that in the next 2 years, or hopefully will be at least 3 to 4 more calls for projects that fall underneath this funding opportunity. So Rebuild Illinois Round 1 last year in 2020, there were 31 applications received, 19 went to rural, 12 went to urban. The award for projects for Rebuild Illinois 2020 was a little over $112 million. Rural projects got a little over $24 million, and urban projects last year, they were funded over $87 million worth of projects were done. There is an award cap for this for agencies up to $100 million if they were to get awarded that much. This is a list of all the applications from Rebuild 2020 and what they were awarded. As you can see, the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District was awarded over $16 million from the first round. Madison County Transit was the next one that was pretty close to us, a little over $15 million. And then some of the other agencies around the state, it's a big variation between what they were awarded based on probably what they applied for. We have a lot going on here in Peoria, so we asked for quite a bit amount of money, and we plan to use every bit of it for our projects, which we will go over. This is a list of projects that we applied for under the round of 2020 Rebuild. Some of these projects are currently underway. Some we are strategically waiting for to do based on some other projects we have going on, like our complete campus revitalization program that we're doing. We're building multiple different facilities and rehabbing one current facility. So like our bus driving simulators, we're going to get 4 of those. They're big simulators that will train our operators, and we're also going to use it as a regional training simulation room to train other public transit agencies to train their drivers. So we are probably going to try and use the round of Rebuild 2020 for those simulators and probably try to purchase those probably closer to next spring, early summer, so they can be delivered on time for when the new facility where they're going to be placed will be completed, because they take about a year to build and manufacture and IT to wire and all that stuff, and then do all the software downloads. Q-straints, these are for wheelchair securements. We are going to put those on our 4 hybrid buses that we currently have in our fleet. We also just procured 3 electric buses from a different funding opportunity, but they will also have the Q-straint wheelchair securements. Some maintenance equipment currently underway. We are trying to purchase those from that first round of funding, such as AC charging machines for our fleet, a brake lathe machine that can rehab our current brake system on our buses. And there's a couple other pieces of machinery that we want to buy. They're just, due to COVID, they're just so far out the lead time, they're just not manufacturing those right now, but we are keeping an eye on it. And when they are available to be purchased, we will go ahead and procure those as well. IT equipment, the IT equipment that we were going to buy under Rebuild round 1 of 2020 was actually just approved 2 days ago at our board meeting, and we will hopefully get those ordered within the next week or 2. Transit center improvements. With that money that we received, we are redoing the roof of the dome downtown at our transit agency. That roof has gone past its useful life, So we are going to replace that roof with a brand new state-of-the-art roofing system. And after that is complete, we're actually going to put solar panels on the roof downtown. Land acquisition. So north of our current facility, there's multiple pieces of property that we are going to acquire and turn into a parking lot for our new facilities and campus remodel that is currently underway. Our construction manager at risk, the money used for that will go towards the construction manager that is in charge of our 3-year project to build our new facilities and rehab our current facility located here on Jefferson Street in Peoria. The construction manager is River City. And the new facility construction, that $10 million will go towards building our new facilities for our transit district. So that adds up to a little over $16 million that we received. And that is what we're doing with that money. So Rebuild Illinois eligible projects, things they look for, facilities like what we're doing. They want to fund, big construction projects, which is what we're doing. Any type of equipment, your IT equipment, your maintenance equipment, things like that. Equipment for new builds, systems, IT, environmental, sustainability, green projects, which I'll kind of touch on here a little bit. Other things they want you to consider are, sustainability, things like solar panels, anything you can do to go green, how urgent you need projects. If you have something that's breaking down, a piece of equipment to keep your fleet on the road to serve the community, that's what they're looking for, things that you desperately need right now. Project readiness, that falls under our construction facility builds. We are putting all of these projects on our TIP and our transit asset management plan, so the state knows what we are doing and allocating that money for, as are, I'm sure, other agencies that were awarded back in 2020. This is their evaluation criteria. It's how they score your application. So planning and coordination, your new and existing projects, projects that you currently have in the works, things that you want to build, things that you want to do, things that create jobs and help with environmental sustainability. Those are all pretty big parts of this category. And then your application, how much effort, detail you put into it is how they go about evaluating how much money you're going to be awarded. So important dates with Rebuild. This is for Rebuild 2021. So this is what's currently out there. They did a notice of a funding opportunity that was announced back in July. The application is due on August 31st, and sometime in mid-November, we should hopefully know if we have been awarded anything. So we are currently working on our application. So we are going to apply for 4 different projects with Rebuild 2021. So I touched on some things that we were doing downtown at our transit center. The roof, you can kind of see it right there, the dome that's over those buses. That's what I was talking about. That roof right there is the one that's going to get replaced. But then after that gets replaced, there's some other transit center renovation projects we want to do. We did the inside of the transit center last year and a half, 2 years ago. We began that project, so the inside's been remodeled. We'll do the dome and the roof. But then after that, we want to do what's under the dome, which is what you see where the passengers and the buses come into. So we want to do new overhead signage for buses so the passengers know which bus they need to get on. We want to do some interactive kiosks for the passengers so they can get on, kind of like what you would see in an airport. You can see where your bus is in real time. Some etching and striping, so the curbs would get repainted. The crosswalks would all get repainted, so the passengers know, where to walk, where to step, what to watch out for, such as the bollard upgrade. They're the big bollards that protect the structure of the transit agency and also the passengers. So they're big bollards down there that would be strategically placed all over the dome, underneath the dome. And then there's some ADA accessible ramps that we are going to also replace with that. So a lot of concrete work down there. So that's that project. The other one we're going to apply for are new building soft costs. So whenever you build a building on the scale of what we're going to build, soft costs are what's kind of sort of your biggest unknown. So we're going to ask for more funding to make sure we have everything we need for our soft costs, such as your furniture, the equipment, your light fixtures, everything that goes into an actual building, and then, basically stacking that building with everything you need. We're also going to get new bus lifts for our fleet because the bus lifts we have now are approaching their useful life. And then scaffolding, we're needing scaffolding for our buses to be able to get on top of them safely versus using ladders. So that is all that money would go towards our new building and everything we would need for a soft cost for a new building. Other one we need is the current administration building, which we're in right now, which is circled on that map. This building we're going to keep for a little bit until we figure out what we're going to do with this in about 3 or 4 years. We don't know what we're going to do, how we're going to appropriate this building, but this building's rough. It doesn't need replaced, it just needs repaired. So there's some leaking and some damage up there that just needs to be patched and repaired. So we're going to ask to get that funded so we can keep this building in a state of good repair, which is one of the big criterias for their evaluations when they evaluate if you're going to get the money. And then the last one goes towards our campus revitalization project, which you can kind of see here to the north. That parking lot, as well as talking about before, there's currently houses there. We're in the process of purchasing those, and then we will demo those, and then we'll turn them into the parking lot you see there. So phase A, what you see on this map, is currently underway. That is a rear building and body shop paint booth building for us. And then right after that, phase B, which how it kind of comes down is it kind of looks like a T. Where the B is, that is actually the maintenance phase we're going to go. And right above that B is going to be where our administration, operations, and maintenance facility will be. It's a 3-story building. Then phase C is the only building on this campus that is going to stay. It's going to get completely remodeled, become a storage garage for our fleet. But even if we do C, which we will do, and we turn that into a bus storage garage, that maxes out our fleet capacity and how it's going to be stored. So we are seeking funding to do an additional storage garage, which connects B and C through the D right there, through phase D, which would help us to give us some breathing room for storing our support vehicles, our actual large fleet, and then some paratransit type vehicles we can also place in there. You can also use that garage for having vendors come through. It could be a drive-through for safety, and even storing some larger pieces of equipment. So this has all been designed. Our 100% design is coming the next couple of weeks. So we are seeking funding to basically finish this project. So that's just kind of brief. That's just an overview of the history of Rebuild, what we did with the money from last year, what we plan on applying for this year, and what we would do with that money. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any questions that come to mind later on, you can email me, you can call, and I'd be happy to discuss this with you further.
Additionally, this is Emily Watson. I wanted to mention that we will be posting the recording of this meeting and also this PowerPoint presentation on our website after the meeting concludes, so probably sometime later today. And it will be posted on that website link that's up there, which is citylink.org/about/projects. We're planning to use that page to keep people in the know about what we're working on currently and other projects coming in the pipeline.
Okay, well, if nobody has any questions, we're gonna stop recording this, and that concludes our update for what we're gonna do for this funding opportunity.
If you do have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself.
Okay, thanks.